this means we're live. Okay, check, test, test, test. Is this thing on? Check, check, check. Mic check. Let's see. We need a chat room check is what we need. Do we have a chat room here somewhere? Do. Pop out the chat. Close the browser. Now, if you've shown up just to make fun of me, that's not fair. All right, let's see who's here. Hassan is here. Daniel, Otis, Jerome, Dan, Rich, Prashana, Rudy, Curtis, Peter, Michael, Martin, Jim, Jerry, Martin, and Amnon. You can hear me. That's a good start. I just added this mic, so I'm not sure if the audio sync is right. And yeah, it's a little low. Okay, well we know how to fix that, I think. There's a volume control on the bottom of the mic. This is that ATR, Audio-Technica ATR 2100. Did that turn it up? Otherwise, I can boost it a little bit. I can boost the gain here if I need to. It's not real close to my face. Yeah, it looks a little low. Let's add about 5 decibels of gain. Sync looks close. That's good. Thank you, Dan. Check, 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 check. Let's add about 5 more decibels of gain. Check, 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 check. I generally look for about 12 decibels in everything I'm doing. Why 12? It's just an even dozen. So, and actually, this mic already has 300 milliseconds of delay set in it. Okay, well, good. That worked. Just plugged it into the Behringer, just turned it on. Not sure that it's, didn't test it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, today's been a day, whenever you rearrange and unplug everything and then plug it all back in, and sometimes it works and sometimes you plug it back in again. Hey Josh, glad you're here. We're just warming up here. Jim's here. Did I announce Jim Moline earlier? That rascal. No telling. Quite low, still lower than your intro music. Thank you, Martin. Quite low is helpful. This is not the mic. There we go. That's up to 18 in gain. This is not the mic I'm going to use for the show, by the way, which I have not checked that mic. Wonder if we added any gain to that one. We probably ought to just preemptively add some gain to it. Okay, Otis says you're good now. You're probably talking about my voice. Thank you, Otis. Thank you, Otis. Oh man, that's great. Kevin's here. Welcome, Kevin. Glad to have you. Let's see who else has popped in when I wasn't looking. Jerry's here. Hey, Jerry. These are not the droids you're looking for. That's right. Josh says, my volume was low. Now you sound great. Well, see, you guys are sucking up to me big time, and I have nothing to get. I do have some dum-dums here, the official candy of streaming idiots. Would you like a dum-dum? Yep. If Ken is listening, I may need some more dum-dums. I'm almost out of dum-dums. All right. Otis says you were good at 12. Okay. Well, as long as I'm not... Oh, yeah, there was some red there, wasn't there? If I get kind of excited... Well, I'm not going to use this mic long term, let's put it that way. So I'll try not to get too excited back here. But I do want you guys to be able to hear me. And I've got... Here's the deal. You saw I don't know, maybe you didn't see. There is a picture that I put on Facebook this morning, actually just a few minutes ago, that shows the new studio. So the idea is that I'm tucked in the corner today with obviously no green screen behind me. Yeah, this is not a keyed out background, and I've put this in its place. But the idea is that when the time comes to start the show, I'm going to do the intro, and then I'm going to run over to the middle of the studio, which is over there now, and I'm going to get my earbuds on real quick, and I'm going to get all set so that by the time the jaws of death open on me, I'm sitting in what looks like my normal place. And I'll have my XKey XK80 here, which is all configured with all sorts of cool stuff. And I've got the big 55-inch. Oh man, I got this 55-inch TV at Walmart for like $150. It was just on a super sale. And it's a POS TV, but for a studio monitor, it's just fine. So hey, Cesar, welcome to have you. So I've got it set up for the multi-view with some post-it notes on it to tell me what the keys are on the X keys. So we'll see if this works, and then I'll do a studio tour with the PTZ Optics PTZ cam. Well, Amnon, you can jump right on this trend train anytime you want, my friend. And there is no admission. Aram is here. Welcome, sir. Hope you guys got everything all worked out. I love Mara's show. Aram and Mara need to come on. Mara's got a show called, or they do, but Mara's the talent, called Homegirl Talk. And I'm going to have them on. I'm going to do a show probably after the first of the year, maybe in the month of February. I'm going to do what I'm going to call vMix Stars, or something like live streaming stars maybe, and have people like Mara and Aram on there, because they're folks that had me build a PC for them, sold them vMix, taught them how to use it, and now they're stars. Jens is here. Rudy's here. We can get started now. Gee whiz. Doing the whole thing with banana buttons. Actually, I do have 2 banana buttons that I'll be using for this show today. That's right, Dan. It is Wednesday again. Let's see who else showed up. Oh, yeah, we need to get started with this show. But I just want to give a shout out to who just joined us. Looking down the list, Todd is here. Okay, welcome. Glad you guys are here. Oh, by the way, if you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, I'll throw this in just temporarily. Come on over, way over there, to easternshorebroadcasting.com. That way you can get in on the chat room, because the chat room won't be, well, actually, it's not even available now. What does the chat room look like? Well, the chat room looks like this. Take the lower third off. There you go. And so you can get in on the chat during the show if you go to easternshorebroadcasting.com and click the Watch Live tab there. And that'll give you the show and the chat. So you can pop out the chat and watch it there. So if you're watching us on Facebook, we're not going to be monitoring the Facebook comments during the show. We will afterwards. So if you got a message for afterwards, please leave it and I'll reply. Hey, Jerome. And their show, Josh, is Homegirl Talk. Homegirl Talk. It's a girl show, okay? It's a girl show. But Mars, she's a sharp lady, and she's anyway. I don't want to steal the thunder from that one for the future. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But you can watch. I think she's got a show on either tonight or tomorrow night. Homegirl Talk. Dan says, so much wisdom being shared in the chat room. That must be somebody else's chat room. Certainly it's not this chat room. Oh, gosh, you guys tear me up. So wherever I was, we're going to go back to, let's turn this off. And, hey, Dewey, glad you're here. So we're going to do, I'm going to leave this chair and run into the middle of the studio while the Jaws of Death are doing their thing. And by the time they open again, I'm going to be in there. This is totally self-produced. There's nobody else here. It's just me. I mean, you can look around. Do you see anybody else? I don't see anybody else. So I got to remember to mute this mic and unmute that mic. Yeah, I'll remember that. Yeah, right. So y'all flag me. Remember, all caps, just say audio. That'll do it. That's right. I should be using Martin's app right now. Like 10 minutes ago, all of a sudden, the KVM that switches my keyboard to a second PC stopped working. And I had to reboot and, basically bring everything else back to where it was. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's happened to you, I'm sure. All right, let's turn down the PC. Turn down the ringtone. And everything else is good. So we've got that there. We've got this here. We don't have anything to trip over between here and there. Amnon just says, put the intro on loop. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And this is going to do the other mic. Oh, this is a good test. All right, I've got this mic right here. Patient with me. We're going to get started. I've got the Audio-Technica ATR 2100 right there. Great value. If you're looking for a mic and want to get started, this is a great value for a mic. It's less than $100. It does XLR, and don't you start with me, Marie. It does XLR, and it also does USB. So it's a great mic to start with if you're starting out with just like a webcam and you want a good mic. So I don't sell them, but I love them. Maria, she thinks she's so funny. Jan, you and Marie need to figure out how to get over to NAB next April. I just can't wait to meet you guys in person. Okay. So we're going to do a test right here. I'm going to turn this mic off, and no, I'm going to turn the other mic on, and I want you to tell me if you can hear me in the background, if it makes an echo. Ready? 3, 2. All right. So now I've got the Audio-Technica AT897 boom mic on in the studio, which is probably 12 feet from me right now. And then I've got the 2100, Audio-Technica 2100, right here on the desk. It's on too at the same time. Can you hear the second one in the background? Is there a delay? Slight echo. Okay. What? Marie says, I'm funny? She's a sweetheart. All right, so a slight echo. All right, so I want to turn that rascal back off, and I need to remember to turn it back on. So there we go. There we go. Okay. All right, so the chat room has gone to the animals. So with that, Josh says echo. Thank you, Josh. Okay. Double mic echo. So there must be a good amount of latency today. Yep. Okay. Delayed echo. All right. Thank you. That's good. That's good. All right. So what do we do to get this thing started? Boy, I'm nervous. I've never done this before. I didn't even do this in pre-show. John T. Audio, delay, audio. Yes, got it. Okay. All right. You know what? If it doesn't work the first time, we'll start it again. All I'm doing is starting a recording, though, with this. I'm not starting a stream, so we're okay. All right, well. On your mark. Get set. Go. There we go. Almost made it. Ha ha! If you're just joining us, holy cow, you're wondering what in the world is going on here. Well, this is Streaming Idiots, so there's no telling what's going on from week to week. I'm Tom Sinclair. I'm your host of Streaming Idiots. We are streaming, we've been streaming from our new studio for a while now, but we've reorganized, and I am now actually literally in the studio portion. I'm not behind a PC. Wow, that makes me nervous. And all I have in front of me is my keyboard, my X Keys XK80 that has got, this is a working keyboard. You can tell it's a working keyboard because there are a couple of keys missing and everything is written in hand because it's always being changed. And I've got a series of colored buttons. I don't know if you can see them right in the middle, right, that little row right there, that I program for different things for different shows. And so they're not the same any 2 weeks in a row. And across from me, I have a 55-inch TV set. I got it on sale at Walmart for like $200, $150. It was amazing. It's a terrible TV, but it's a great studio monitor because it allows me to throw up a multi-view. I'm using the preview output multi-view with inputs 1 through 8 below it, and I took Post-it notes and popped them on the screen so they correspond to the keys on my keyboard. So hopefully, you know, if I hadn't explained all this to you, you might see me glance down every now and then to hit a key, or at least to know where my hand was in terms of keys. Dan, we need some keys that have little dots on them, like you would find on a conventional keyboard, so you find your home keys. So I can find one dot and then move around to it. So that's just a suggestion for the future. Yeah, we're in the new studio. We've been working on lighting. So you can see I've got a little bit of a blowout here in the forehead. I've got to work on that. I've got just a couple of shop lights that I picked up at Sam's Club, but they're LEDs, 5000K color temperature, 5000 Kelvin, and I've matched them up with some other lights here in the studio that I need to tell you about, and I forgot to bring the information with me. Anyway, I'll put it in the notes on YouTube and on Facebook down here after the fact, so that you can get them. Why am I looking at that? That's not going to tell me anything. We do want to. What do we want to do? I got to look around behind the camera. Yeah, we don't forget to save the date. Save the date is April 9th, 2019. That is the Tuesday night at NAB in Las Vegas, when we're going to have the Streaming Idiots meetup. So you want to mark on your calendar if you're going to be at NAB, and you need to get your plans in now, your hotel reservations and your flight arrangements, especially the flight. Well, especially the hotel too, because it's the biggest. I think it's the biggest conference or convention they have in Las Vegas. Well over 100,000 every year for this. So you want to mix it. And there are a lot of folks coming in from overseas, and so they're making their reservations now too. So go ahead and do them. That's April 9th, the Streaming Idiots meetup at NAB. It's going to be a ton of fun. I can't wait to meet you there. And of course, you want to come to NAB too for all the other good stuff there. Also, coming up next week is the WFX Church Conference in Orlando at the Orange County Convention Center. The trade show portion will be Wednesday and Thursday next week. And Paul Richards with PTZ Optics and I will be walking the trade show on Wednesday using his walk cam and the backpack and showing off all the cool stuff there. So we hope you'll tune into that on the PTZ Optics show. And then since it's Wednesday, which is of course Streaming Idiots show day, we'll be doing a Streaming Idiots from the floor of WFX with help from Tess Protesto back in Pennsylvania at the PTZ Optics HQ, the Stream Geeks HQ. So we haven't worked out the details on that one yet, but it ought to be it's going to be interesting at the very least. So we'll see that. Now I have a button on my keyboard here, this red button right here. And when I mash the red button, it puts the chat up in the preview window and reloads it in case it went away. So I'm going to look up there and see, has anybody said audio? Nope, nobody said audio yet. That's a good sign. That meant I forgot to turn my mic on. Don't want to do that. So anyway, if you're going to be in the Orlando area, if you live in Central Florida, come on out to the WFX conference next week. I think the PTZ Optics folks on their page on Facebook are giving away some passes to the show, so you want to come out. And there's going to be all sorts. WFX is worship effects. And so it's going to be lighting and smoke machines and trusses and speakers and audio and video and live streaming stuff too. PTZ Optics is going to have a booth there. We'll be joining them. And then on Thursday, the day after the trade show starts, well, it's a 2-day show, so it's the last day of the show, we will be giving away a complete live streaming system to a church. And that's going to be a big deal. I mean, it's like 10 grand or more worth of gear. Well, probably more than that, more like 15,000, because it's going to be some PTZ Optics cameras and a PC and some live streaming software and all sorts of other cool stuff. I think there's an X Keys involved. Yeah, I think there's an X Keys involved. So you'll want to get in on that. If you are in a church, it's still not too late to enter. You've got a whole week, but you have to be present virtually or in person to win. So you'll want to be tuning in. We'll be doing that live stream next Thursday from the floor of WFX Conference. And it will be on the PTZ Optics page, and I think we're going to cross-post it to the Eastern Shore Broadcasting page. So if you're a member of Streaming Idiots, and if you're not, you need to be, come on, join Streaming Idiots. It's on Facebook. Just type in Streaming Idiots, and that'll lead you there, and you can request to join. You have to give us your email. If you don't give us your email, we don't do it. That's just our way of kind of holding you accountable so you don't say bad stuff, because then we'll know who you really are. It's not that bad, but we are trying to keep it to folks that want to share and want to share safely. So that's the Streaming Idiots group on Facebook, and we'll put links there to what's going on YouTube as well. So that's all the, that's not all the announcements. I have another button here. This other button here says Sting on it, and there's a input number 2, and I'll show you guys all this in just a few minutes, is marked Sting. So let's press Sting and see what happens. It's a stinger, yay! And this really cool backdrop that Martin Kay did for me. Let's take off the lower third for just a second so you can see all the virtual reality. It's not virtual reality. It's really there. There's a little conveyor belt here behind me that's dragging all that stuff across. And that basically is to tell you that our company, Eastern Shore Broadcasting, we build PCs for folks that want to do live streaming. We represent vMix and PTZ Optics and Magewell and Yuan and BirdDog and, of course, X Keys. We're including X Keys in all of our church systems now because we think it's so much easier for volunteers to sit down at a keyboard that has numbers on it, maybe even pictures. And then they follow the script and they press the number. Like the next number I press says, let's go back to the show. Oh no, I did it again. That's too funny. That's too funny. We'll fade that out. So that's the commercial part of this giant infomercial. The whole show is an infomercial for Eastern Shore Broadcasting. So we want to have you there next week at WFX Conference. Boy, I blended all that together, didn't I? Yeah, there we go. Do you have a button to turn on the right mic? Well, but of course, I have this giant button right here. Amnon's asking this question. You can see the banana button right there. That's my cough button. Everybody needs a cough button. And, or a sneeze button, or whatever you want to call it. And so it allows me to kill that mic and then and then hit the button again to turn it back on. So that's that. Now, let's talk about the studio. We are here in the studio, and I need to grab something. There we go. There we go. And this is the remote control, the infrared remote control that comes with every PTZ Optics camera. Now, I'm using a PTZ Optics 12X SDI camera here in the studio that I have upgraded to the latest firmware, and I've also installed NDI on it. Now, we're not using NDI right now, we're using SDI just because we were rearranging the cables and I didn't have an Ethernet cable that was long enough to reach. So we've got that guy set up. I've got some presets here, and it allows me to do a studio tour with you guys using the presets here. Now, I could have set up presets here, but they wouldn't work because I'm not connected over Ethernet, so I wouldn't have a way to control the camera right now. So you'll just have to bear with me. But I do think that a PTZ camera like the PTZ 12X from PTZ Optics is going to be a great option for a studio camera. Number one, it means, well, and here's the deal, it's not number one, it's my number one reason, is that you can control the camera without having to move. If I'm self-producing, I can focus, I can zoom, I can do almost everything I need to do from right in front of the camera. If I were trying to do this show with my old Canon HF-R100, which was a little handy cam, had a little teeny screen on it, and if I had to get that all set up in advance, no way, no way. Now, I did have to cheat when I was setting up for the show, and vMix has got the ability to take a snapshot, and so I set up a key here on the keyboard that would be a snapshot, so I could take a snapshot of this, go back and look at the snapshot and see, how bad did this lighting right here look? What am I going to have to do about that? Am I going to have to dim something or have to move something? Didn't have time to do any of that today, but it gave me an opportunity to see that. And then if the camera is not where I want to, I can adjust it there. Let's see, where do we want to go with that? Oh, yeah, let me, this shot right here is a webcam that is thumbnailed to the wall across the room. So let's put that up there so you can see. That's it. That's the studio. Yes, I'm wearing pants, Paul. And it's just nothing but an old wrinkledy green screen behind me. And right now I've got a tile floor, but at some point we'll put carpet in. We've got some chairs for when we have guests. We had some folks in the studio last week as we were sort of warming the studio up that came in and did a quick recording of a college football show, and that was kind of fun. We were talking about the University of Alabama. You can see over here the brick wall that eventually we'll put on a track and have so it can slide in front of the green screen behind me right here, so that we can use that as a set. We haven't figured it all out. The idea has been to put as many things on wheels. You can see the wheels on the tripod that the camera's mounted on, as many things on wheels as we can. You can see the Audio-Technica ATR, I think it's an AT897 mic, is just pointed at me. It's probably almost 6 feet away, and it's it's sort of duct taped to a light stand. So we'll be improving that at some point in the future. And then let's see. Let's go back to we'll go back to this shot. And this is the studio shot. Now let me give you the same shot, but without the keying of the green screen. So that's that shot. Now that shot right there happens to be the main shot for the camera. And so what I want to do, hold on a second. Yeah, people are commenting on the mic position. I agree, and we'll see if it's able to work, if I can get it suspended up overhead a little closer, as it was in my other studio. Let's see if I've got my presets here, and if we can go preset number 1. Don't tell me it's forgotten the presets. Oh, it's on camera 3. How did that happen? Let's try it. Let's go back to camera 1. There we go. All right, so that's the full width here, and we'll flip over and show you that's the control desk. Now the control desk used to sit right where I'm sitting right now, so it's been pushed all the way over to the other side of the room. You can see right there at the edge of the desk, we've got my Dum-Dums, my lemonade in the Streaming Idiots can, and then just some ice water in the blue right there. And you see 3 monitors, and right above it, let's see if we can go 2 above it. Oh, yeah, it kind of blows out a little bit, but that is that's one of the new lights from is it Luminaire? I'll have to get the specs for you on that light. It's about 5,000 lumens. It's got 4 banks of lights that can be turned off and on individually, and it also has the ability to dim those lights. It's a really neat setup. It's got a metal casing with handles and a really trick bracket to hang it from. The power supply is built inside the light, so there's no little brick to work with there. So that really makes a cool light. I've enjoyed working with it so far, and we'll just have to see how it does. Yeah, there's a little closer shot there. Comes with barn doors, which I think look cool. I don't know that they do anything. Oh yeah, there you can see the thumbtacked webcam on the wall. And let's go back here and over to the right above me. You can see that I've got the 2 shop lights. Those are from Sam's Club. They're 48-inch LEDs. They look like the old fluorescent tube fixtures, but the LEDs, of course, are built into these fixtures. And you can see, let me zoom in a little bit, you can see that one plugs into the other, which makes them really neat. They came with all the hanging devices, and they're simply suspended from the little clips. Let's see if I've got a close-up of the clips. Let's try again. No, we'll try one more time. Well, trust me, but there are some clips there that allow anything to be hung from a suspended ceiling. Let's see if we can get in a little bit closer. Yeah, there you go. You can see the clip in the top left-hand corner. Just nothing fancy holding up the green screen, just some little teeny binder clips. Yes, Dan put in the chat that it's Fancy or Studio VL500 is what those lights are. I happen to get them on Amazon, and really like them. All right, so let's go back to the lights, and then we'll come down here, and then swing over here. And I've got 2 side lights, and these were actually the lights that I started with initially, thinking that they would be good on the ceiling. Again, barn doors, not 5,000 lumens. There might be 1,000 lumens from that rascal. That is a newer brand, NEEWER, and they were about $75 each on Amazon, and they come with a little filter. Let's see. Yeah, I can't really see. The power supply is not built in. It's a plastic housing. Wasn't very impressed, especially when, and we'll zoom around here for just a second. Whoops, let's go back up to that one right there. Especially when I got that light at 5,000 lumens for $59. It was like $20 cheaper than this other light. Now, I don't know that there are a lot of them there, so you'll want to go grab them if you can find them. But it definitely is the bomb. I bought 2 extras just to have. Not sure that I would ever use them. Let's go back on the whirligig here. Hold on. There we go. And you can see that is the multi-view that we're working with today. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit more there. And you can see the Post-it notes that govern my setup. And thank you to Dave for posting the URL in chat. I think that's to the Fancier Studio VL500. Looks like it is. There we go. Okay, so let's go back out here. You can see the chat over there in the top left-hand corner. And let's Let's get this guy to buzz around. Oh, there's the front door. And, you know, you can see the highway out there, and we do get a lot of road noise as a result. And so I've taken a couple of moving blankets there and just tossed them over some shutters. The idea with the shutter was that it would be something that would be mobile and would allow me to position it wherever I needed to. And at some point, I'm going to take those moving blankets and tack them to the shutters so that they stay as part of the shutter system. Yeah. But it does allow me to have sort of a mobile sound protection. Oh, there's one of my neighbors. Mobile sound protection here in the studio. So that is it so far. You can see, you know, not very impressive. Just stuff. just stuff. But yeah, and there's my wire management. You can see still have a lot left to do there. So let's see if we can go back to the opening shot. There we go. All right, and then we'll go here, and we're back in the studio again. You know, we're back in the studio where I've got all these feeds coming in from all over the world. Yeah, that's the studio that we're in. Yeah, it's been pretty fun to put this together. You know, labor of love. Oh, one thing I didn't mention, and we're not going to be able to see today because the lights are on and just, you know, they blow out the camera, is the special clamps that I'm using for the light fixtures that I'm hanging from the ceiling. It's a X clamp, and basically it opens like this, and then it closes down like that, and clamps. Never mind. They're expensive. They're almost $20 each. But if you're hanging something from the ceiling, you want to make sure you're not using those little plastic clips that I showed you that I've got. I mean, if the green screen falls down, you know, and covers me, I'll be embarrassed. But if one of those lights falls down and hits one of my clients on the head, I'll be more than embarrassed. And there's actually a retaining wire that we use too, which of course I haven't put in yet. But that's supposed to catch it in case it falls. The other thing that I would mention, and let's go back to the green screen for just a second. That's number 3 here. There we go, and I'll zoom on out. You probably noticed that we've got a tile floor here. You're probably hearing some echo in the microphone. A lot of it is from the tile floor. But we've also done a lot here to try to, you can see the sound blanket there behind the light fixture next to the ladder, another sound blanket there, another sound blanket there, another sound blanket there, and then we'll whip around. And behind the brick wall right there are 2 more sound blankets, and then sound blankets hanging at the front door. And then, can we see this? I think we can see this. Let's see. We'll go back to this shot, and then, yeah, and then I've got a sound blanket across the front of the table there to try to catch as much audio that might reflect off that back wall in front of me. And let's go back here. Hang on a second. Woo! There we go. And so the idea is that we're trying to acoustically treat. Those are big words for me. We're trying to make the room dead, so that the audio doesn't bounce very much. So the next thing is to get something on the floors, and then we'll probably add some more odd-shaped. Martin Kay suggested, you know, just getting stacks of cardboard boxes, something to break up the sound and make it not go just a bounce off the wall. We do have an acoustic ceiling in here, which is nice. I'm not sure how much it helps. I would like to see if I can't get away with using boom mics in here long term, as opposed to a lav mic. But we may be forced to go the lav way. I'm going to turn the chat back on here where I can see it. Yeah, Martin K. listed in chat some scissor clamps from Manfrotto for the suspended ceilings, and that works. And yeah, Amnon, that's exactly what I did. Amnon says in chat, if you're not seeing the chat, he said in chat, well, go pick up one of those blankets by the door and quickly throw it on the floor. That's exactly what I had when I had the football players from the university in here last week, is that I had it right on the floor in front of them, and I think it helped with some of that audio reflection. Michael Graves says, it only works to a certain point, hard to absorb acoustic energy as the frequency gets lower. That's true. And part of it is I want to absorb it, part of it is I just want to try to redirect it as much as I can. Now, of course, I say that, and then opposite me is a diagonal 55-inch TV with a big shiny screen on it that's obviously reflecting everything that I say right back towards me. That's probably being picked up by the mic. It would be interesting to throw a blanket over that and make a recording and compare that to without a blanket on it. We'll have to see. The long-term goal here, of course, is to have a studio that I can bring other folks into, and we can have chairs or stools or love seats or whatever. We may end up having to paint this back wall right here green so that we can get some more width in it. This right here is 10 feet. And so, 10 feet's good, but if you got 5 people on the set, 10 feet's not enough. Now, I'm not in a very large space here, and I've carved out some of the space over to the left as a workshop area where we can build PCs. And I'd hate to give that up, but it all depends. We'll just have to see. You walk directly into the studio. There's no foyer. It's not fancy, but then again, it's not expensive either. So we wanted to make sure it would work before we sunk a lot of extra cash in it. But I think that you could do this too. Right here we've got, well, let me count, because each of the tiles on the floor is about a foot. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So maybe 15 wide by 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. So 15 by 15. And I've got a studio. Now, this is larger than than the spare bedroom in my home that I was in for so long. But I can also do a lot more here. Obviously, my wife wasn't letting me have clients come into the house to make recordings or live streams. So we've been able to bring this out and have it just about ready to go, and wanted to have it ready to go before we brought people in as clients. So much of what has motivated me here was the video that Paul and Tess did in downtown Westchester, Pennsylvania, at the novelty. It wasn't a novelty shop. It was a gift shop, where they actually went into the gift shop. But it spurred my imagination to want to have a bricks and mortar studio, so that we can engage people locally as well as engaging you over the internet wherever you might be. As a vMix reseller. It is always my pleasure to do business with anybody, anywhere. In fact, sometimes with the exchange rates, you can buy vMix cheaper from me here in the U.S. than you can from a reseller that's in your native land. And we've been shipping, PCs, well, not all over the world, but North America. We've been shipping cameras, PTZ Optics cameras, here in the U.S., to the Caribbean, and to Europe. So it's been a pretty far reach, but we wanted to kind of circle back and say, okay, now we've developed some expertise, and now we have a studio that we can offer locally, and we'll just have to see what works. I'm going to try lots of different things. I want to try to do a news show, a local news show from here. I want to bring some folks in and let them kind of experiment with having their own show, and then at some point we'll actually exchange some money. We'll see how that goes. Let's go back to our regular shot here. There we go, and bring the chat back up there. Yes, carpet remnants might work. I think for under $100 we can do quite a bit with carpet. Dan says that he's used the half-inch rubberized floor pieces that come in 24-inch squares. Soupy, easy to put down. Yeah, we can try those. I saw those in Sam's Club the other day and thought about that very same thing. I'm thinking carpet might wear a little better and wouldn't show dirt and wear quite as much as those soft mats. I can see putting a bunch of 3-year-olds on them, but trudging adults in and out might be a different story, although it certainly would be colorful. Okay, so that's it. That's the studio. So if you've got some questions for me, or if you'd like to see something up close a little bit more than that quick look, we'll do that. But we'll do that in the post show. So we're gonna. Do I have the ability to close this show out from here? Oh no! Let me look on my X-Keys XK80 and see if there's a button for that. Yes, there's a button for that. All right, I'm loving it. This is great. So, stick around. If you're watching live, stick around. If you're watching this on a recording, we record the post show too. So don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. But we'll see you in Orlando next Wednesday and Thursday, and we'll see you in Las Vegas April 9th for the Streaming Idiots meetup. And if you need stuff, we sell stuff. So come get it from us. Thanks so much. We'll see you in just a sec. That worked pretty well. And we're back. Yay! Okay. So, Rich says just being indoors is a luxury for him. Rich is he is outdoors all over the place all the time. Any questions? Anything you'd like to see closer? I know there might be a little bit more latency in the broadcast today, especially if you're watching on the YouTube portion. We were having some problems in the past not having, what was the problem we were having? I think it just wasn't a good connection for whatever it was. We were using the lower latency feed with vMix and it just wasn't performing well. And I think people were not able to use the DVR function, and I know you always want to run it back and see what I said a few minutes ago. So we switched over to the highest quality setting in YouTube. I think there are 3 different settings, so we switched over to the highest quality setting. Sorry, didn't mean to give you the finger there. And that highest quality settings has the greatest amount of latency, probably up to 30 seconds in some cases. So that's why that. Martin K said, I would think that the rubberized floor mats would help. Carpet would be even better, but also the walls at the rear of the studio need treating behind the green screen. You know, Martin, I was thinking about that too. And let's go over to this shot there, because that is the green screen, is that it certainly would be easy to take to take the green screen down temporarily and to hang another large blanket up behind it. I've thought about, and I've had some people suggest to me that I paint the wall green. But if I paint the wall green, I lose the ability to actually, put something on the wall that has sound treating ability to it. I guess I could, mount some foam on there and then put something over the foam and paint that green, but I'm not into that much trouble. So I'm thinking, yes, Martin, I want to probably go ahead and take another moving blanket, or maybe a pair of them, and drop them in behind me. That would do. Rich says, great setup, Tom. Thank you, Rich. You know, and people like Rich are part of my inspiration for this kind of thing. I mean, Rich takes his whole streaming setup in like 2 suitcases out to the coast of something every day, whether it's the coast of a lake or a Great Lake or a Gulf or an ocean, and sets up on a 40-foot tower that's been hastily assembled with a foundation of sand. What was it, last weekend? Rich said a big gust of wind, 50-mile-an-hour gust of wind came and blew one of those stands down right next to where he was, and his got rocked a bit too. And I think he lost some equipment. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, so people doing things out of the ordinary, stepping out of the box a little bit, you know, kind of challenges us, and is also reassuring, you know, because if Rich can make it work at 40 feet up in the air on top of scaffolding, then certainly here in a climate-controlled studio, I can do the same. I will admit that I had the temperature cut down to 72 degrees Fahrenheit here this morning before the show. It was kind of chilly in here, and then turned it off so that we didn't get that noise. I don't know if you can hear the noise in the background of the PC. I'm going to be quiet here for just a second and see if you can hear that background noise. No, that's a car going by. Hold on a second. Let's try again. You know, there's some shows that play background music the whole time, you know, and at first I thought it was ambiance, but now I'm beginning to think it's to cover up some unwanted noises. Do you hear that? It's right over there. Well, this is not a stereo mic, so that doesn't help. So Amnon says, I've come a long way, baby. I cam a long way, baby. All right, thank you. Martin K says, the reason you need the wall behind you treated is because that's the wall the mic is pointing at. So it will pick up reflections from that wall more than the others. Well, thank you, Martin K. We will jump right on that. Good to know. Good to know. That makes a lot of sense. I'll tell you another one of my inspirations. I had the opportunity to visit Rich and climb up to the top of the 40-foot tower last summer. That was a lot of fun. And I've also had the opportunity to visit Amnon in his studio in North Carolina, in the Raleigh area. So if you're ever in the Raleigh area, you probably want to look him up and go see his studio. He does a studio tour every day between 2 and 3. Anyway, Amnon's studio is really interesting. As I was doing the deal here with the green screen and getting it hung and posted on Facebook about that, I got some interesting comments from people that said, you know, and I would have made the same comment had it been somebody else. Your chair looks like it's too close to the green screen. And I agree. It's you know, I'm sitting here 1, 2, 3. My head and shoulders are probably 3 feet away from the green screen. And I know when I was in the studio back at home, my home studio, I was probably 4 feet away. I don't think I could touch it. Here I can just barely touch, but the home studio I couldn't touch. But in Amnon's studio, Amnon has he has the green screen, like, you know, from me to here. You know, you can almost stare at it, almost spit on it, and he makes it work. And it's all about lighting. The key to green screens is lighting. It really is. It's lighting. Distance, yes, it's important because it helps with shadow and reflection. But you look at Amnon's key, they've got the Sunday morning show, Computers 2K Now. It's kind of an old guy's tech show. All the guys that are on it are really, really old. But that Old Guy Tech Show at 9 o'clock, computers2know.com. And you can look at Amnon's key, and he's got the green screen keyed out. It's a great key behind him, and you don't see any reflection. Really, really, really well done. Really well done. Jan says you can find acoustic foam tiles on eBay quite cheap. Buy them in green and fill the wall with them. There's one word in that, Jan, that I don't really like. It was the word buy. That means spend money. I don't want to spend money on that stuff. I want to spend money on cameras and microphones, and I want to do this stuff back here for free. Michael says put compressed fiberglass panels behind the green screen. Very good results at frequency well below what the blankets can accomplish. Actually, I have fiberglass panels here that were, here you can buy the fiberglass panels in 4x8 sheets, either 1 inch thick or 2 inches thick. And I bought some for a project at the church. We were doing some acoustical treatment at the church, and I had 2 layers of the 2-inch foam in some panels that we built and put on the wall, and they had some left over. So I made some 2-foot by 4-foot panels, and I've got them over here actually surrounding my my rack where I've got the vMix PCs as a way to try to cut down on some of the escaping audio from that system. So that would be good. You know, a couple of those hung up there would be the ticket, although it would mean spending money. Rich says, would it make sense to create a physical background like a bookcase and plants? Rich, I thought about that, and you know, that's why I'm thinking about having multiple screens like this that I can bring in when I may have people that, you know, right now the lighting in here is set for this spot for one person. Would the green screen work if I had 6 people that came in here and set up on stools? I don't know. You know, at some point I'll have to experiment with that and find out. But I wanted to have a studio that was extremely flexible and that would be able to work in lots of different situations. I remember when we were at the Streaming Idiots meetup this past April, this year, at Scott Studios, at Scott Whitney's studio at Podworks in Las Vegas. His black set, not his green screen set, but his black set has bookcases and, you know, flowers and things like that in it, and I thought that was really, really attractive. But he also has a green screen set, and he has a podcasting set, and I don't have the room for all that here, so I needed to make a way where I could have the look of different sets, but really in the same physical space. So that's kind of what I'm up. I'm losing the chats. It's moving faster than I am. Kenny says the closer you can get the boom to the sound source and negate some of the room issues. Yeah, I'm hoping I can get something that will come in, you know, from overhead and get within, you know, maybe 2 feet of me here. And Alan Dunkel's here saying the same thing. Jan says 96 tiles, size 12 by 12, $87. Dude, you know, Friday will be here. Come help me put them in. all these big talkers until it's time to help with the work. Jerome says, Tom, I'm looking to set up a studio at home and bring people in to do shows for their business with green screens. I will charge for this. What do you think? I think that's the bomb idea. I think that's the bomb idea. I think that's a great way to make good business use of that space. The green screen takes some work on the front end to get the lighting right. But once you've got the lighting right, I think the rest of it just sort of works after that. They also make I don't know what the official name of it, but photographers use it. You remember in school 100 years ago, they would be in the geography class, there would be a pull-down map, and then you could pull it back up. You like the sound effects, and it would show that the world or whatever. Well, they make giant pull downs like that mount in a studio where you can pull down a backdrop instead of having something roll in. They were too expensive for my taste, but that's an option in a small studio, is to be able to have the flexibility like that. Yeah. Michael Graves says a lavalier or headset mic is preferable. I agree. I agree in theory. My pocketbook doesn't agree because I already own the boom mic, and it's one of these things where. And I talk with people all the time as we're talking about their studio or their church, or they want to do sports, and I say, what do you have? What do you have that you're already working with? What can we use? What can we repurpose for different for different uses? Because we want to be able to take advantage of the assets that you already have on hand. And then you may have this one asset that we can repurpose, and it'll be 80% effective. Or you can go out and buy this other thing that'll be 100% effective. Well, maybe 80% effective is enough. Maybe 80% is enough. So I'm hoping this boom mic falls into that 80% category. Amnon says that he hangs a lav mic from a boom and places it in the middle of 3 guests sitting in front of him. The wire is so thin and the mic is so small, in most cases you don't even see it. So Amnon is a classic case, and I'm going to brag on you here for just a minute. He's a classic case of somebody that really is going to find ways to repurpose all these other things. I think he had a capture card, and may still, in his PC that he bought, that was pre-used by 10 other people off of eBay for $12. And it worked, and he used it. I think that was back in the standard definition days, but Amnon is the prince of repurposing this equipment. Alan Dunkel says $74 studio counterweighted boom stand on wheels. That's what I want. That's what I want. I think I want that more than green foam. Jan says that he produced a company webcast earlier today, in parentheses. I must have missed the previous statement on that. Sorry about that. Daniel Wright says a local friend has a photography studio and uses a tan painted room instead of green. He says it is more flexible for doing green screen kind of work. Okay, that's cool. Never heard of that, but that is cool. Dan says, personally, I don't like the sound of the lav and headset mics. You have to use them in noisy environments, but it sounds like the host is talking right into your ear. Yes. Otis says, you practice on us, now go to celebrity. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I just test stuff on you guys. This is not a real show. It's just a test bed. All right, Alan posted a link that didn't come through for me. It says, here's a link to the $74 boom stand. I'll go back and check later and see if it's there. If not, Alan, I know how to get you on Facebook. Amnon says, and your green screen proves that it doesn't have to be perfectly flat and without lines on it to work. Well, that's true. That is true, because here we go. That is the green screen. Now you can see over here, there's a little bit of light that isn't right, but I'm not using that because I'm using this right there. And all of a sudden, all that stuff fades out. Now, if it was important and I needed to have this shot as the green screen, let me go to right there, and you can see there's a wrinkle down right there. I would obviously take some more time. Let's go over to the green one. And you can see that wrinkle. Yeah, you can see that wrinkle right there. Obviously, that comes out with a steamer. I think somebody had suggested on Facebook, don't worry about steam, just get a spray bottle with water, and a lot of those wrinkles will fall out. So, yeah, we may have to try that. But yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. I can't make out the name. Is that Etronics? A slotted rail attached to your ceiling with some threaded rod from the big box store is inexpensive and immediately adjustable. Just get an adapter 5/8 thread for the mic thread, less than $30 total. Well, there you go. There you go. It'll hang right there. I like it. I like it. The Outdoor Station, welcome. Glad to have you. The cheapest way to make sound boxes is to use some 2x2s, a couple of sheets of thin plywood to make a large thin sandwich. Then fill it with sand and mount it on the wall. It kills reflection and reduces bass vehicle vibrations. Ooh, and I got some bass vehicles here, that's for sure. 2x2s, thin plywood, make a sandwich, fill it with sand, and mount it on the wall. Wouldn't that be heavy? Holy cow. But it's a great idea, and you're right. You're right. Who was it? Rich, not you, Rich, but the other Rich, had some pictures in the Streaming Idiots Facebook group today of a studio he built, a green screen studio, and I think he used a lot of wall filler with sand in that. Etronic says the beauty is you can use it for hanging a light at a moment's notice. Good deal. Yeah, I've got a ton. Let's see if I can show them. You really don't care, but I like to use the camera. I've got a ton of lights now that I'm not using that can be put to use at a moment's notice. But I suspect I've already stolen all the light bulbs out of them because they were warm white, and I have moved from 3200K to 5000K because I think it's going to give me better color in the long run. Yes. Oh, how are we doing on comments? I think I'm up. I know I missed one or two. I can't scroll back. This is the PTZ control. It won't scroll, and I don't have a scroll button here on the X keys, and actually probably couldn't scroll it back. Well, maybe I could. Anyway, can't scroll it back. So that's the studio, guys. Any questions before we close up shop here? Oh, okay, here we go. Amnon says $74 boom stand. What? Here's the one for $23, which we use. I love Amnon. She indeed. Kenny says, did you keep the receipt from Lowe's for those round lights? Well, you know, truth be told, there are probably 3 different generations of them, and I know you really don't care, but I'm going to tell you anyway. And I've had some of them probably 6 years since that VidBlaster guy days when we did that show. And you know, funny story, and stop me if you've heard this story. But back in the day, when we first started the show named That VidBlaster Guy, Amnon was on, if not the first show, the second show. And I invited the developer of VidBlaster to come on the show, you know, because, you know, it was kind of named after his software. I thought he deserved an invitation. And I think he was hacked at me because I had created a show with the name of his software on it. and it was pretty, what was it back then, Amnon? Pretty basic, pretty plain, pretty amateurish, pretty crude. They're still up on YouTube. You can go back and watch them and see for yourself. And they were standard definition. They were horrible. They were horrible. And the guy took one look at those shows and he said, I do not want to be associated with this. He wrote me back a letter. And, you know, they're nice ways of saying those kinds of things. You know, keep up the good work, keep trying. I'm really busy right now, maybe at some point in the future kind of thing. No, well, instead he said that he couldn't, what was it? I probably kept the email. I have to go back and check. But that he wouldn't appear on a show where the quality of the show was that poor. Oh, God. Oh, just put that knife in and twist it. I mean, I knew it wasn't good, but I didn't have to hear it. Oh. So, he was never on the show. And thank goodness for Nick Davidson forcing me to sell him vMix 4 or 5 years ago. And I did, and went to Martin Sinclair and said, Martin, I want to be a reseller. I've got a $1,000 order here. And he said, okay, you can be a reseller. So since then, it's become a lot more difficult to become a reseller, but it all started there, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful marriage since then. Yeah, Dave says it was unique, and that the guy didn't know nice. That's true. Yeah. You know, and some people just have that personality where they cut to the chase. You know, they say it and let the chips fall where they may. And I do that a lot too, so I can appreciate that. And, you know, it was a good motivator for me. Yeah. Dan says some people have social skills. Yeah, that's right. Alan says, Amnon, it costs a bit more because it's a studio mic stand on wheels, but smaller portable ones can be decent too. Yeah, and that is a question. At some point, when you go through the situation where you've used kind of makeshift equipment, and, you know, like the little circular lights there, you know, we've replaced them with something that I think long term is going to serve us really, really well without really much compromise. Microphone, we'll have to see if we can repurpose this mic and use it in the studio, or if we need to go to lavs. You know, the sound treatment here, a lot of it was transferred from the home studio. Obviously, we need to add some more. So, let's see. Otis says, king size egg crate mattress behind the green screen. I love it. That's a great idea, Otis. Maybe I can find one on eBay or in the local Goodwill store. Yeah, there you go. Amnon said he couldn't use a mic stand on wheels on his crooked floor. Dave said the vMix forum has a lot of help that the developer of VidBlaster could not do. Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of it is attitude. I think attitude is really, really important. Attitude of making people feel welcome, making them feel comfortable, making them feel wanted and appreciated. And just that in and of itself goes a long, long way. Hey, Ty, welcome. So good to have you. Y'all remember Ty? She was on the show last year, 2017, Ty? Or has it been longer than that? Ty's up in the Atlanta area. Ty, I'm going to be in Atlanta in March. Gerald Griffith has asked me to come up and help him on the live stream for his voiceover conference that he does in March. It'll be a week up there. So maybe we can get together and have coffee one morning if you're in your Atlanta headquarters at that point. I'd love to do that. That would be fun. So, yeah. Yep. Welcoming attitude. Welcoming attitude. That's why I'm so picky about the folks that I'm letting into the Streaming Idiots group. You know, maybe we're keeping some good people out, but I'm trying to bring in folks that, number one, are not going to spam us with their live stream game, and two, are people that you know, that, I guess, simple stuff. They speak English as a either first language or as a well-adopted language. It's really difficult to help people out if you can't understand what they're trying to communicate. And I understand the pressure of somebody that's trying to speak English, which is an incredibly difficult language to learn. You know, perhaps the most difficult language in the world. I don't know. I've never learned any other language. So anyway, the Streaming Idiots group is basically an English only group. I know some of the other groups are having folks in that speak other languages, and I applaud that. And I think that's really great. And encourage you to do more of that. But the Streaming Idiots group is mostly, predominantly English. Yeah, predominantly English. And friendly. That's the other requirement. I'm sending these folks notices. If they post something and they're being a little rough around the edges, they get a note from me saying, play nice. Play nice. The world is a small place, and there's enough hurt and pain in it already. Let's treat each other gently and with respect, and that goes a long, long way. Long, long way. Well, guys, enough sermonizing for today. Enough sermonizing for today. What do you think? Came out okay. We're still working, but we're 80%, at least 50% done. But I appreciate you guys tuning in today. Otis says place a gate on the audio mixer in vMix. We may talk about gates sometime. Not today. Guest 757 says a 50-pack of acoustical Pana studio foam wedges, 1 inch by 12 by 12, soundproofing, sound absorption, 50 pieces for $58.99 on Amazon. And there is a link. There you go. There you go. I'm a cheapskate. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Dan, thank you for making such a great product as the X Keys. This is the XK90. If you want them, I have them in stock. I can send them out to you, not today, but tomorrow for sure. And what else? What else? Etronic says, I speak Midwest English and have been known to interpret folks from down south when needed. Good, good. We need that. We need that. And Dave said, thanks for sharing your studio. Good show. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that. Next week we will be in Orlando at the WFX conference. We will be on live at 3 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday for the Streaming Idiot Show. It will be a different show because we'll be coming to you live from the convention, from the floor of the trade show. And then next Thursday will be the giveaway for the church streaming system. You have to be a church in order to enter, and we'll put information on Facebook and YouTube about that so that you can find that there. I don't happen to have it on me right now. So those are the next two things coming up. If I can help you in any way, you can reach me at easternshorebroadcasting.com. Right there. There you go. And there's a contact link there, or just put Tom in front of it, Tom at, and that'll get to me by email. Be delighted to assist however I can. We're going to let this run out. I think I've got a button here for letting it run out. And we will see you next week. Bye.